moving on, I've cut out a base because I think before I go any further I need to find out whether one of these clock movements has got enough power on the minute spindle to be able to turn a couple of gears. Normally you adjust these by turning the little wheel on the back. I don't want to do that because I want to be able to move the wheel, the minute hand, from the front, so you can adjust it to how far you want the timing to take. So I've mounted the clock movement on the back. I've cut back the hour hand, or the hour sleeve which was there, so that this is all minute. And the second one is right in the centre, so I'm not going to worry about that. But that gives me a really nice long section of the spindle to fix the gear to. The gear I've cut out of 3mm acrylic with a hole very carefully measured and experimented with, so that I know I can just put this on and push. That's now perfectly well fixed. You can see as I turn that, the little adjuster on the back is turning, that we're not going to worry about. Next job is to get a synthesized or model wooden knob, which is going to fit on that one, which you can use to adjust it, and the other gear to fit like this. So theoretically you can twist this one and it will twist this along with the minute hand. I've cut a slot here, a lozenge shape, so that this gear that links the other two can be moved slightly inwards and outwards. I've used the lower power setting to engrove a few little lines and twiddly bits on, which just adds something to it. It looks really nice. What I need to do therefore is to fix this, glue it onto here like this with super glue. A little ring of super glue around there. A top tip to keep spacing when you're tightening something like this and you need to give it a little bit of lateral movement so you don't tighten it so it won't move. What I do is to get an old business card and cut a little slot out of it, just poke it under, and then when you tighten it really nice and firmly, and then pull the little spacer out, and you'll find that it spins perfectly. It's left just the right amount of gap. There you go. Interesting. That's right. Yeah. I'm not happy with this centre gear. Because it's only 5mm deep, if you like, there's not enough bearing surface on the shaft in the middle to stop it wobbling around. Need to think of another plan. I think I may have to use a bearing. For the uninitiated, there's a series of little balls, hardened steel balls inside, within a sort of loose, free to move cage. And if you think about it, it means because they're between the outer and inner ring, they can, as you turn the outer ring, the balls will just roll round and reduce friction to, well, virtually nothing really. A company called Technobots Online, and they sell all sorts of bits and pieces to make things like 3D printers. And you can buy something like 50 of these bearings for something like, I can't remember off the top of my head, something like £5–6, something like that. So they're not very expensive. If you look on eBay and Amazon things, they'll charge you an absolute fortune. I know there are different standards and qualities, but these ones are really quite adequate. So designed it so that this bearing, 13mm, will push into the top of this gear. There we are. So you can put a little drip of super glue into each hole, and capillary action will take it in and make it run all round. One top tip for that is though, do it from the back, because then all the splodges and bits you get you won't see from the important side. If I put an M4 screw in, tighten it up, it will tighten against the central part of the bearing. That's tighten that really tightly, and it spins really freely. It slows down because the bearing's been packed with grease or oil or whatever, so it's got a little bit of friction, not very much at all. Now I've fixed this on, there's virtually no lateral movement. It turns beautifully, so I can adjust it like this. You can also hear the ping of the hour contacts. Well, I'll hold it up a bit. There you go. That is what we're going to use to trigger the horn on the timer, so you know when time's up. The timer needs to work vertically because it's going to be hanging on a wall, so you're going to have different sorts of friction on it, different forces, so it can't lie flat to be tested. There you go. So I'll put it like that, vertical, and see what happens. Brilliant. During the meanwhile, I'll get on with something else. Lovely.